Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because so often like you said, we're just thinking about ourselves. But yeah, the musician, whoever the actor, whoever you're reaching out to, could just as easily be excited about the project if you explain it to him instead of just like, hey, I want this, I need this,
That's right.
me.
That's right. And look, I get it. We're all passionate about what we do, and you have to be. But it's also a matter of just a little bit of perspective. And the reason I give myself permission to say this is I got it wrong a lot early on in my career
Yeah.
because all I could think about was how excited I was about songwriting in my own songs. And I didn't stop to think about, well, clearly we know what's in it for me, but have I stopped for a second to think about the person who I'm asking for the favor or the whatever the situation may be? You just have to stop and remember that it's not just a one-sided deal.
Yeah, and that goes to the point that film and music is so much of collaboration.
Oh,
If
sure.
you're especially if you're in a band, I imagine certain musicians just love to work just completely by themselves. But still, at some point, there's going to be some level of collaboration. You have to learn to give and take a little bit. That's just the nature of, I feel like, both industries. Maybe I'm wrong about music.
No, you're absolutely right.
Even if it's somebody who because we talked a little bit about people just putting out their own music, and they're um there's a lot of people who directly put stuff up now. I guess even on like TikTok and stuff, there's people who put up their own little videos, and they wrote these songs by themselves. um Maybe talk a little bit about that, like what you're seeing with that in that regard. Like my son listens to a lot of these kind of musicians, and I guess they tour by themselves, and it's all this like DIY kind of stuff on. It's pretty interesting what's going on with that. Are you tuned in with that a little bit? Well, you already said you don't really pay attention to what's going on in the music
Well,
landscape too much, but still, are you at least aware of those kind of musicians that are just these kind of younger Gen Z people who are putting out all this kind of stuff?
absolutely. And I think it's wonderful. I think that doing that, one of the things that is hardest, especially when it comes to something that you're passionate about, is on some level having to rely on other people to do the thing that you love. So, if one of your bandmates ends up being unreliable, then you can't go to a gig because you don't have a drummer that night. Or so I definitely understand the mindset of wanting to kind of keep it all in the box, so to speak, doing it all on your own and getting it out there. And there are people doing exceptional work that way for sure. And I think that's great. I think again, it's not just the music; it's the ability to market that music. You mentioned TikTok, and I'm
Hmm.
sure there are other platforms where this is a big deal, and platforms we don't know about yet where it will continue to be a big deal. And
Right.
I salute those folks. I think it's great. I think making music that moves you, that subsequently you put in a position to move others, I can't think of a more noble thing to do.
I also wonder, we talked about the whole career thing, like it, just being able to continue that once you hit maybe a hit song on TikTok. You can have like 400 million followers or whatever, and all of a sudden you have like the world paying attention to you, and like Lisa Loeb, going full circle back to that, being able to say, all right, I've got the attention of the world, now what? And having that
Right.
second song, or maybe a full album, if people even do albums anymore, to continue that down that path. And that's going to be interesting to watch how some of these people maintain that, if they can, or if that's even the norm anymore.
I suspect that some will and some won't, and it has everything to do with how much they know their voice as an artist. If they don't, then it'll be, I feel unfortunately like it'll be a chase to figure out what they did before, and they might not even understand what they did. But for other
Hmm.
people who already know their process, then it's not that big of a stretch to imagine them continuing to sort of build on that success. It has everything to do with the individual artist and where they are in their journey.
Oh yeah.